So last night, after 6 years of trying, I got this. I got my bachelor's degree in the mail. Well, not here in the mail, but in America in the mail. Which means it's a wrap. So let me tell you how it all started. Actually, let me tell you why the miracle and the piece of paper are the same thing. Because for many people, the diploma is a rite of passage, as it should be. And for me, as it says in the title, you see a piece of paper and I see a miracle. Here's why. On May 12th, 2011, I had been laying on my apartment floor, beaten, bloody. I had been saturated in my own body fluids for a couple days, and a man who didn't like me very much kicked in that door, put a gun in my mouth, and had every intention of killing me. And the reason he didn't is because he thought that if he would take me to the emergency room and leave me in my car to die, he would have his hands clean of any criminal act. So no criminal act for him. Now, I had a relationship with this young man, and by relationship, I don't mean anything good. I simply mean that we had known each other for a while. So when he dropped me off in my car in a blanket, blue and salivating at the mouth and everything else, he called the emergency room and said, "You guys have a white boy in a Grand Prix in the parking lot, and he's dying." So I was in and out of blacking out, but I remember seeing about 4 nurses running out of the hospital, and that was the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember was I woke up with a whole bunch of tubes in me, and people were sticking needles in me, and everybody was drawing blood, and we're trying to figure out if I was going to make it. And once they got me stabilized, the emergency room doctor came in there. I didn't really have a lot of respect for people at this time. People in general, definitely not myself nor anyone else. So for a doctor to come tell me something meant very little. Until this guy looked me straight in the face, like he stood over my bed and looked at me. And he said, "Jeremy, you're going to change or you're going to die. It's that simple." I got to thinking about that. I had nowhere to go when I got out of the hospital. I had no money, no friends. My car was the only thing that I had, and I'm not big on living out of cars. But I had no family that wanted anything to do with me. None of that stuff. I had ruined every relationship, connection that I'd ever had in my entire life. Shortly after that statement was made to me by the doctor, I realized he might be on something. So I committed myself to getting some help, and I did just that. I humbled myself enough to ask grown men to help me and teach me how to be a grown man. It's something very hard for me to do at the time. I do it every day now. About 6 months into this process I was in of getting better, the opportunity came available for me to go to college. And it was a community college at the time. But I thought, why not? I really don't have anything else to do, and I made pretty good grades in high school, so sounds like a good idea. I did just that. I went to college, and I didn't learn anything in college. I say that I didn't really learn anything intellectually in college. Some stuff, but not very much. I'm just being honest. But what I did learn was how to be normal again, quote unquote normal. I learned how to be a human. I learned how to be somebody's friend. I learned how to be a son to my father. I learned how to be a big brother to my little brother. I learned how to be a son to my mother. I learned how to trust people. And a lot of that had to do with a few people I met in college. I met so many people. Largely responsible for that is one person. And that person today is my best friend. And I have another friend that I met in college that was the first friend I made when I got to Charlotte. I had been there about a year, and she was the first person to ever give me the time of day. I couldn't believe it. She was beautiful, she was Asian, and you know, just like it's just not one of those things you expect somebody like her to, you know, want to befriend you. But she did, and we're still friends to this day. Here's a little sneak peek at what it was like to hang around some of the most incredible people just about every day. They helped me become who I am. You're not gonna believe this shit. If you never have, you really should. How cool is this?
We're dying!
This is what it looks like when you have a death grip on a fanny pack from one scared tiny human. She's on a freaking golf cart. She was nay-naying until she saw the light. Do your eyebrows with the toothbrush. That's a toothbrush. Right there. Toothbrush. We are officially roasting weenies.
Think it's on fire.
Yeah, what he said. After 12 hours of complaining, Deanna has finally accomplished breaking graham crackers in half. This is what happens when you give baby dinosaurs marshmallows. IJS. That moment when you talk to your best friend about leaving for the rest of her life, and her response is, I don't think you've drank enough water today. When you talk to your best friend about feelings, and her response is, I'm confused about these sliders. Does this canopy go in? You should see her without her hands on her face. It's bad. Food and crazy people. Yay!
What a copycat, Junior.
Pumpkin. You're not. Shut your face.
Here.
Okay, bye. It look like Pop.
Like your face.
She said it looked like my face. We have Lauren. Hey, Lauren. Look who that is. Holy shit. And cat. Somebody told me that I should find a hottie to sit next to me. The best I can do. Did you see anything wrong with this picture? It's not that. This. It's not gonna rain anymore. Let's go to somewhere where there's no cover. You'll be okay. It's just camera equipment. And I have many mentors in my life that I have to thank for helping me change. But I grew up in college. With the help of people outside of college, I grew up. I practiced what I learned outside of college, inside of college. And that made me grow up. So that piece of paper doesn't signify to me a rite of passage or, you know, what a great accomplishment or anything else. That piece of paper means that I gave myself the right to live after doing everything I could not to. That piece of paper is not just a piece of paper. It is my miracle.